At this point, I'm going to introduce our guest speaker tonight, Sue Gresham. Sue has spoken with us before. I think it was
about a year ago.
About a year ago or so. And she's a social media expert, and she's currently the president and CEO of Innovative Client Solutions. And she's here to present tonight the secrets of social media for job seekers. So please help me welcome Sue Gresham.
Thank you. Now, if this is on, we had a few technical difficulties tonight, and
there's one of them.
And there's one of them right there. We didn't need that microphone, did we?
Oh, that's on.
Okay. I'm really not used to these. My voice projects pretty well, right, Andy? Right. So I'm going to try and be concise, but those of you that know me, you know that doesn't happen very easily, so we're going to work on it anyway. I am Sue Gresham, and is everything okay here? Oh, turn the mic on. And I am a former job seeker. Back in 2008, I lost my job. Very unceremoniously, I got my butt kicked out the door from a manufacturing company in Brookfield. I won't name their names because maybe some of you know them. But it was traumatic. It was horrible. It sucked. It was horrible. And I wound up having to figure out what I was going to do what I was going to do for the rest of my life and how I was going to grow up and what I wanted to be. And I have a background as being a teacher. I have a background as being a super volunteer. You name it, I was the one that was there doing it. And I found out that I really love working with people. And working in a manufacturing environment in the office, it was fun, but it really wasn't it didn't excite me. So what wound up happening was I went to job camp, which it was a day-long event back in July of 2009. And now we're talking ancient history, but I went to job camp. And there was a woman that was speaking there, and I always screw up her name. Laura Perino Bixby. I always get which one is mixed up. But anyway, she was talking about LinkedIn. And she was doing a little group presentation, and I thought, wow, that is really cool. That is really cool. And she was passionate about it. And I thought, I got passion. I can do this. I can learn social media. So I decided I was going to take a bunch of classes. And I went online and I took a bunch of classes, studied, went to oh gosh, I can't even tell you how many things, webinars I took and in-person classes and so on and so forth. And I took some tests and I found out I could be a social media strategist. Who knew? So what I do now in my business is I work with small business owners, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs. Some businesses are about maybe 50 employees, and I sit down with them and I help them figure out a social media strategy. But my passion in my life, which I like doing that, is I work with job seekers. I'm on the board of the 40 Plus organization. I'm not sure how many of you have heard of 40 Plus. If you have, raise your hand. 40 Plus is another job networking group. And I will be glad to fill you in about it later. You don't have to be 40 to be involved in it. We have 3 meetings a week, actually 4 including Saturdays. And we work with people, just like you, working on job skills. I am very fortunate to co-facilitate a meeting on Thursday mornings over in River Hills with this amazing gentleman named Rich Longabout. You know him. Amazing. This man could just, amazing. I can't say enough about him. And so what we do is we work with job seekers every Thursday morning, and we do elevator pitches, and we do interview practice questions, and so on and so forth. And I get a couple minutes every week, maybe, to talk about LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is really what my specialty is. You guys are very fortunate. In December, on December 15th, I think it is, you have Wayne Breitbarth coming to this group. And whatever you are doing, how many of you are on LinkedIn? Okay, good. And we'll talk a little bit about it, but even if you're on LinkedIn, whatever you're doing, you need to be in a chair here on December 15th. Because Wayne Breitbarth is the LinkedIn guru of Milwaukee. He will fire you up, charge you up, and he will answer your questions, and he's amazing. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on LinkedIn tonight. I'm going to talk about it just very little bit because he's going to be here in 2 months. And I want to introduce you to the other world and the other parts of social media. So, that being said, that was a long introduction, but a lot of faces I don't know. I know, literally looking around this room, I think I know maybe 6 of you. And so thank you very much. I'm very excited to be here. Thank you, Tom, for inviting me. So, social media secrets for job seekers. Go ahead and you can hit the first one. Social media. I'm going to give you a quick definition. I know every talk starts with that. Social media is social networking. You're doing networking right now. You're here, you're meeting each other, you're talking. Social networking is actually doing it online. And you're having a conversation with someone. And it's real simple because if you think about it, you're meeting people just tonight at your tables, saying hi, how you doing? You do the same thing online. And there's so many places you can do it online. You can do it on LinkedIn. You can do it on Twitter. You can do it on Facebook. And we're going to talk about a couple of those. I'm not going to try and sell you on them. I'm just going to open the door for you on that. Blogs. A blog is something that you read. Could be articles. Could be a story that somebody wrote. And always at the bottom, have you noticed how there's room for comments? The fact that there's room for comments makes that social media because that's where you get a chance to actually reply, to have a conversation with the author or with other readers of that blog. Those of you that happen to go online and happen to read JS Online. Does anybody read JS Online? Some of you? If you ever get down to the bottom of the article and they've kind of changed the format, but you keep going, there's a place for comments. And you will see some very interesting, sometimes good, a lot of times bad, but you'll see a lot of comments, a lot of conversation going on about an article that you just read. That is social media. It's just having a conversation, but it's not having it in person, it's having it someplace else. How many of you have looked at YouTube before? YouTube is a social media site. I don't know if you've noticed or not, but after you look at the YouTube, underneath the bottom, there's some, you can click a like button if you like that. You can write some comments. That's social media. So it sounds scary, it sounds, obnoxious, whatever, but it's just a conversation online. So keeping that in mind, what we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about what that entails for the job seeker. The number one secret for job seekers. Thank you. So he's good. Social networks are the new job board. And there's some statistics, and I'm going to bore you with a couple of them. Hiring managers are using social media all the time. Could you please? Thank you. SHRM. SHRM is HR professionals organization. I don't know exactly what it stands for. Do we have HR professionals? Are you in SHRM?
Society of Human Resource Management.
Thank you. They did a study last year, and they polled 1,003 HR managers. They asked them a bunch of questions. 100% of those HR managers use LinkedIn in their job. 58% use Facebook, and 42% use Twitter. Okay. How many of you are on LinkedIn? Here, again, raise your hands, please. Okay. How many of you are using Twitter? 1, 2, 3. I know Tom is. We're Twitter buddies. How many of you have a Facebook account? Oh, that's pretty good. YouTube, how many of you look at YouTube videos? How many of you read blogs? Okay, so you guys kind of know a little bit about what's going on. Take a look at that. 100% of the people, 100% of the hiring managers use LinkedIn. A very important fact to keep in mind as we continue talking, which is again why I'm going to tell you you need to be here on December 15th. Okay? Could you? Yes. Yeah. That's fine. We can do that, and we'll keep an eye on time.
All of the hiring managers use LinkedIn for.
That's what we're going to talk about. Perfect.
Segue.
Thank you. Ta-da! So, here's what they use it for. I did. She's good. Yes, Elaine. Thank you. 32% use social media to vet their employees. In other words, they'll do research on their employees. They will take a look to see if they're liars, cheaters, thieves, if they really are who they are. Find out if they are good people, bad people. 58%, that's that middle green one, 58% of these employers, SHRM people, have used social media, and they have successfully hired a candidate by finding them on social media and vetting them on social media. Okay? And the other stat is, of all of the HR employees that they were talking to, because not, you know, some HR employees, they have to go outside to find their employees. I mean, you know, HR people have a very busy life besides just running ads and want ads and so on. Employers, it looks like that number is 37% will use recruiters less than they will use social media. In other words, they will be using social media more to find their employees. So in answer to your question, they're vetting, they're placing ads, and they're actually hiring based on social media. And we'll continue talking about how they do that. Okay? Thank you. So given that fact, and I do have a couple of other facts I want to share with you that I actually just discovered today on the world of social media. I read some Yahoo blogs, and here's some statistics. They're expecting, this was a Yahoo article I read, some HR professionals are expecting a 24% growth in the use of social media in the next year amongst themselves. They are expecting that 307% more of this group, whoever Yahoo was talking to, there's going to be more listings on social media for jobs. 307%, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. There's going to be a 307% increase of jobs listed on social media based on what these people were thinking. 307%, okay? And 34% of the people that are looking that are going to be using social media, 34% are over 50 years of age. Okay, so these statistics, they're kind of goofy, but it's just showing that it's really prevalent. Now, if we think about where we get jobs these days, and you know, Craig is going to be telling you guys about this in a couple of weeks when he starts his class, and he used a great statistic. Most of the jobs are found through networking. There are job boards. Companies aren't investing a lot of money in putting something out on Career Builder anymore. Okay, they're using word of mouth.
Sue, just to back up your point, a large statistic that's been out for a little while this year is that in 2010, only 6% of the job offers came as a result of using various job boards like Career Builder and Monster and so on. Only 6% of the job offers.
It's truly a hidden market out there for finding jobs. And the hidden market is it's not going to be the career builders. Now that being said, I'm still pointing you towards the computers. You know, social media is still computer stuff, but that's what it is. It's totally word of mouth. It's totally through networking. There are job boards. Companies aren't investing a lot of money in putting something out on Career Builder anymore. Okay, they're using word of mouth.
Sue, just to back up your point, a large statistic that's been out for a little while this year is that in 2010, only 6% of the job offers came as a result of using various job boards like Career Builder and Monster and so on. Only 6% of the job offers.
It's truly a hidden market out there for finding jobs. And the hidden market is it's not going to be the career builders. Now that being said, I'm still pointing you towards the computers. You know, social media is still computer stuff, but that's what it is. It's totally word of mouth. It's totally being in the right place, doing the networking that you need to do, and that's what social media will help you get to do. And I'll be getting to that. But it is all about the hidden market, completely. There was another statistic, and Craig, you can help me on this one. You said 6% Okay. Of the jobs that are posted, do you have a statistic on how many people actually get hired because of that posting? They find the job because of that posting?
Well, that's what the 6%.
Oh, that is the 6%. Okay. Okay. So how many of you are spending more than 6% of your time on a job board? I know it's okay, you don't have to raise your hand if you don't want to, but think about it, Think about it. If only 6% are out there and you're spending more than 6%, or even let's say 10% of your time, you're kind of barking up some of the wrong trees. So here's the next secret. Drum roll. Oh, and then another drum roll. This is a Prezi, thank you. This is a Prezi invitation. I've never done a Prezi presentation before. Have any of you ever done that? It's the new thing, it's not PowerPoint. So it's called Prezi, P-E-R-Z-I, it's online. Let me know later what you think of it. Job seekers, this is the startling statistic of the world. Here's the pie, 100 job seekers, 100%. Only 25 of the job seekers in the world use social media, or in the country, whatever this is. Only 25% use social media to find a job. 26% use job boards. 17% use recruiters. And 7% use classified ads. So let's back up to everything I just talked about a few minutes ago. If 100% of the hiring managers and SHRM people are on social media, but only 25% of the job seekers are, what's the deal with that? That means that there's a lot of job seekers missing the boat. Job boards, 26% of job seekers are using job boards, but there's only 6%. Again, missing the boat. Recruiters, 17%. Remember there was a stat that I showed earlier that all of the HR managers were going to use social media more than recruiters coming up this year. But we still have a huge chunk of people that are using, and I realize that doesn't add up to 100% as I look at that, so I have no idea. Sorry about that. But 7% use classified ads. And again, we were talking about the hidden job market. So there's a real disconnect here. And that's the purpose of this conversation tonight. There is a disconnect. We need to be where the jobs are. So, yes, sir.
If you're on LinkedIn, do you need to be on all the social websites?
That's a great question. So let's talk about that for just a second. I'm going to back up for just a second. Let's talk about what the different websites are. Okay? We know that LinkedIn is a professional website. It's professional job seekers, but not just job seekers. It's a professional network for people that are actually employed still. There's 120 million people across the world on LinkedIn. Okay? When you're on LinkedIn with your, you have this beautiful profile with your resume. You've got all of the different activities that you've done, all of your volunteer activities, your education. It is basically your resume. Wayne will say it's your resume on steroids. Okay? And it is your chance to shine on the social media world, or in the world. When you do a Google search, have you ever Googled your names? Some of you? If you are on LinkedIn, in theory, if your LinkedIn profile is pretty robust, if it's pretty good, your name is going to show up first on Google with your LinkedIn, with the link to your LinkedIn profile. Okay? So LinkedIn is great, and I love LinkedIn, and that's my passion. But I talk about LinkedIn 24/7. Facebook. Facebook is this really fun social networking site that started about 2004. There's 800 million people across the world on it. 800 million. There's these stats that if Facebook was a country, it would be the second largest country in the world. Okay? Think in minds here that the United States has about 320 million people. Okay? So that means there's 2 United States just on Facebook. Okay? I'm going to digress for just a second, if that's okay. Facebook is changing the way they look in the next, well, they were supposed to do it 2 weeks ago. They're changing it now, hopefully, I don't mean hopefully, but I mean it's supposedly very soon. When you go to your home page, you get all the news feeds. When you go to your wall, that's your profile. That's what everybody sees. That's what people comment on. It's changing its look very soon. If you go to my Facebook page, you'll see that I've already taken that change, and I've already done it, it changes it into a timeline. And it changes it into a timeline of your life on Facebook. Yeah, I saw that look. And what it's going to show is it's going to show every single little thing that you did on Facebook ever since you signed up. Now, the showing, it's going to be, you have to kind of drill down. So if you picture Facebook and you picture your wall, there's lots of room for pretty pictures. It's very cool. It looks very sleek. It looks very nice. On the right-hand side, there is going to be this timeline, and you're going to be able to look by the year, pick 2009, 2008, and you click on that, and you're going to get to see every post that you made on Facebook in 2008 and 2007 and 2006 and 2004 and 2005 and 2009 and 10, 11. Okay? Now take some drilling, and if you've been, I've only been on Facebook for 2 years. So, but if some of you have been on for a lot longer, you might have a whole lot of stuff out there. So I'm giving you the heads up right now. Be aware of that. And it's going to really be something that you're going to want to pay attention to. When you log into Facebook and they give you that option, because they roll these things in, when they give you that option, don't accept the timeline right away. You have 10 days to take a look at it and to go through and to look at what's out there, what Facebook says it has in their repertoire. You may not even remember what you did 4 years ago. You have an opportunity to delete the crap you don't want out there. Okay? Take that opportunity to do that. Okay? So that was a sidebar. But Facebook, very social, very, it's a lot of people think of it just as, oh gosh, my alumni association, and I can find out what's going on with my friends. And I will tell you, I love Facebook because I've got a niece that's down in Florida, and I don't talk to her on the phone. But man, I know what she's doing. Thank God she's not embarrassing, but I know what she's doing, and that's kind of nice. Then there's Twitter. Twitter is, there's about, I lost it on my head. There's about 100, there's less people on Twitter than there are on LinkedIn, okay? LinkedIn's grown exponentially in the last few years. Twitter is a microblog. You can put a profile out there and you talk in little blips of 120 characters, okay? And people think, I'm just going to say I'm going to the bathroom, or I went and had a hot dog today, or something stupid like that. Twitter actually, I'm going to show you, Twitter actually has some really great conversations going on that job seekers can get involved in, and I'm going to show you that in just a minute. So, and then there's blogs and commenting on that. So that's kind of the wide breadth of social media. Should you be on them? That was your original question.
All of them.
Or all of them? I'm not so sure about all of them, but definitely you need to be on some. And I hope to show you why. Okay? So, here's part of the reason why. As we said before, now this is a different survey. This was done by Technorati. There were 9,000 people in this survey. Employers' choice of social media. This wasn't just SHRM people. These were vice presidents of companies and so on. 78% are on LinkedIn, and they use it as a tool to help them vet and find their future employees. 52% are using Facebook. I think that's 48% are on Twitter. And then there's 17% on blogs. And look at that, there's 13% of employers use YouTube to find their employees. Now think about YouTube, it's videos. Think about what you could be doing as a prospective employee to showcase your talents on YouTube. If we have the sound, I hope we do. I forgot to say we need sound. Or I did mention it, but hopefully there is a sound, and if not, I'll paraphrase what the guy's saying. It's pretty cool. And then okay, so now secret 3. Okay, secret 3 is, it's really not earth science here, or nothing, not rocket science. Okay, hang on, I want to get my stats before I draw. Okay, it's what you do and how you manage yourself on social media. Okay, point is we need to be putting out the best foot forward all the time. All the time, especially as a job seeker, but even once you have a job. Tom's got a job. He doesn't know how long his job's going to last. I mean, hopefully it lasts forever. But he needs to realize, and he does realize because he's a smart man, that this job is not going to be his last job. Elaine has a part-time job. She's looking for a full-time job. She's still, even though she's not in the full 100% 40 hours a week job search mode, she needs to make sure that she's presenting herself in a professional fashion all the time. So in social media, you need to do the same thing. And it's no different than what you would be doing if you were at a church function, standing around afterwards in the greeting area where you have your coffee and your cookies and chit-chatting, or when you're talking to your neighbors, or when you're at a wedding. Okay? Social media, what's out there, a lot of people see it, and it lasts forever. But you still have to treat it with the same respect as what you would treat somebody that you're talking to face to face. Okay, and Andy heard me last week go on a whole rant about people that screw up on social media. It drives me nuts. Because people think that it's social media, just like with an email, I don't have to respond. It doesn't matter. It does matter. It totally matters. So thinking about some things we need to be doing on social media, and I'm gonna take the word out of this social networking. I'm gonna take that out of there, and let's put it in the brain of what we do in our real life and how we talk with people. Okay? The first thing you do when you meet someone is you're very cordial, and in a networking situation, what do? After you get to know them, you find out how you can help them. Those of you that were here last year, you heard me say that all the time: give to get, give to get, or give and then you will get. But give first, okay? Social media is the exact same thing. So when you're on social media, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be giving quality information to people. You're going to be a thought leader, hopefully. And the way to do that is by sharing content that you found somewhere else, sharing comments from someone else, okay? Passing on good words, which are things that you would do anyway. You'd pass on good words, wouldn't you? You compliment people. It's the same thing with social media. Another thing that you would do is you would put your best foot forward, okay? If you're cranky, you're not going to, no, okay, those of you that were on Facebook, if you followed me the other night, I was really cranky. My iPhone did not work. Those of you that were on Facebook, if you followed me the other night, I was really cranky. My iPhone did not work, brand new, I was so upset. So I broke my first rule about how to act on Facebook, but you know what happened? I kind of ranted a little bit, and I said, I'm so upset, I can't get my emails to work. I had 5 people Facebook me back in the comment string. There were 37 comments in my stream. I've never had 37 comments before. 37 comments, of which 6 of them were people offering to help me. Wow. I mean, that was so cool. That was so cool. Now, granted, it wasn't cool that I kind of got a little freaky there, but it was so cool that people were offering to give their time to help. So that's what you do in social media. That's what you would do here. If you have a friend in distress, what do? You take them cookies. You go visit them in the hospital. Same thing here on social media. Not that you go to the hospital on social media, but you know what I'm saying. It's the exact same thing. There was a handout that when you came in, there's a lot of stuff on there, but there's some do's and don'ts about things to do on social media. It's on the first page. And I'm not going to read them off to you, but I want you to think about these things in the way you portray yourself. And the way you portray yourself on social media or on social networking is the exact same way you're going to do it here. And the exact same way you're going to do it when you are networking with someone, when you're doing an informational interview. You guys know about informational interviews, right? Yeah? Craig will teach you if you don't know. Right, Craig?
Sure.
Thank you. But those are things you need to be doing. But there's ways that you have to extend yourself. Okay? Listen to others. Be polite. Don't get into political conversations as much as, you know, the world is really crappy right now. It's really crappy. And it's really easy to get sucked into complaining, blaming legislators, blaming neighbors, blaming the rich, blaming the poor, whatever it is, don't do it. Can you flip for me? Thank you. Because it's all about you. It's all about branding yourself. You are your own salesperson. You have got to sell yourself. If you don't sell yourself, nobody will. Okay? It's all about branding yourself. Whether you're doing it sitting here, whether you're doing it on social media, on networking. You need to be dressed nicely. When you go out in public, you dress nice. You look nice on social media. Can you flip? Like that. Okay. My number one beef in the world. My number one beef. I could whine about this all day. If you're on LinkedIn, if you're on Facebook, if you're on Twitter, if that's what you look like, that's really boring. There is nothing there. There is nothing there to make you stand out. People look at pictures. Their eyes are drawn to pictures. Okay? There's nothing to be ashamed about the way you look. Those of us that are over 40 and we're afraid that somebody's going to see that we're over 40, guess what? You're over 40. And guess what? You walk into that interview, they're going to figure it out right away. So get a picture and put it up on your LinkedIn profile. That's simple. And make it professional. Smile pretty. You know, wear something decent. You know, I don't see a whole lot of sloppy clothes here. Men, you know, wear a nice shirt. You don't have to wear a tie, but if you want to, go for it. Women, you know, wear something nice. Beautiful outfit right there. You know, it doesn't take you more than, and take a little picture. You know, use your little digital camera, get somebody to take the picture. You don't have to pay for a fancy headshot. But make sure, because nobody's going to remember you if you don't have a picture. How many times do you go someplace and you've met somebody and you can't remember what they look like? And then you want to look them up, and then they say they want to connect with you on LinkedIn or something, and you're like, I don't remember that one. I'm terrible. I need pictures. So don't be that blank face that's got nothing. Show yourself. Can you flip another one? Thank you. Okay. I don't think I need to say anything more than that. So, remember how I mentioned 100% of the employers look you up? Okay, they're looking up your name. They're looking up your Facebook. They're looking up your LinkedIn. If you put a tweet out there.
Invited though? Don't they? You don't have to invite
Twitter, you do not have to be invited. It's
Okay.
free open reign. LinkedIn, someone can look you up on LinkedIn. You don't have to be connected to them because the profile is open. Okay. Facebook, depends how you have your settings. And you know, I could talk for days about settings on Facebook. Facebook settings, you definitely want to be protective about who can look at you and who can put things on your wall because you have no control. Well, you do have a control if you get the email and you can block it out. But there's a lot of idiots out there in the world that will put stuff on your Facebook page just to be idiots. I hate to say it, it's true. But there it is right there. So if you apply for a job and you admit, if you're dumb enough to admit you lied on your application, you think that guy's getting that job? No, I don't think so. Can you do the next one? Here's another one just as stupid. Now, obviously this person is employed. How long do you think this person will stay employed if their boss sees that? A, or B, let's say that they're employed and then next month they're going out looking for a job. Not good. I'm sorry, I keep standing in front of you, don't I? You're not going to get hired with that job. Ha ha ha, funny.
So Sue, do you think that most employers use, other than LinkedIn, use the other social media to exclude people? Right?
Absolutely. But they also use them to not just to exclude. Okay? You know, there's this myth out there, and now you're an HR person, right? Recruiter. Oh, okay. There is a lot of myths out there. Okay? There are myths that HR people, recruiters, are their whole intent in life is to exclude you from getting that job. Okay? Right? That's a myth. It's a myth. Because recruiters get paid by successful, successful placements. If there is a recruiter that's looking for you and he sees that, of course, you're going to get excluded, okay? But in the scheme of things, they're going to be looking for you for the good stuff. And they will be using the good stuff to build up their case for why they've submitted you for a position, okay? Do you have anything to add to that, since you're a recruiter?
I do look at, if I'm sitting in front of my computer and I'm looking at a candidate, LinkedIn, I'm on a special membership with LinkedIn, so I can search higher levels and contact you. I pay for that monthly. I use LinkedIn all the time, always, to search for people. And I have lots of friends that work in direct jobs like at Miller Corp and stuff like that that only use LinkedIn all the time. Those statistics are right on. Facebook, I have a real lax Facebook, so I don't expect you to have it open, but sometimes I'll look at Facebook actually to see if you have a crazy picture.
Okay.
Not because, and that would be an exclusion thing. Not because I'm looking for that, but I'm fearful of it.
That's an excellent point.
Your LinkedIn profile is really nice, but your
other life?
I've had this happen in the last 6 months, where it's like the person's Facebook we look at after we brought them in for the interview, and we're like, oh, I should have looked beforehand because they're crazy and wild in their private life, and it draws into the public life where I'm looking for salespeople. It crosses. So I think, having your Facebook, mine's real locked. If you looked up my name, you just see my picture and my name. But, and I'm fine with anybody in the world seeing that picture. But I think having a picture that is not embarrassing as your Facebook profile picture is really important, because I do look to see if there's a craziness.
But it can be
and I don't
fun.
mean to sound so blunt, but that's
no. But that's exactly what we needed to hear. Thank you so much. I'm so glad, because that's exactly the way it is.
But it can be more fun than your LinkedIn.
It could be fun, and I think.
Oh yeah, mine is of me and my kids, which probably isn't the wisest in a lot of ways, but I mean, we're on a beach, we have coats on and we're in, the wind's blowing. Yeah, it's supposed to be that way versus my LinkedIn profile that was like a business picture. But I mean, and you'd be surprised what people put as their profile pictures. I had a sales rep recently that had, I don't know what kind of top it was.
But it wasn't very professional,
No.
or even
and
not.
my company didn't want her representing that product, their medical product.
Okay, so thank you, Mike.
You might be able to answer this, but do recruiters post jobs just to get their Rolodex filled in case they need to fill jobs?
That's a true thing. That's been going on for 25 years, though.
I know. I go on some job boards and you submit an application or submit your resume and you don't even know if they got it.
That's a great future topic here, recruiter in here.
I mean, it just is out in cyberspace. And
Absolutely.
You know, where did we go?
Absolutely.
It goes to a management sourcing computer usually, and bold words are pulled out and highlighted. And if there's a good match or enough matches, then it will go on to another level and another level and another level. So
I'd just like to know, we received your resume. Great. Okay.
Yeah.
Common courtesy is definitely fallen off the wagon.
Absolutely.
You 100%.
Absolutely. Can you, thank you. That's great. Thank you. So, this is my mantra. I have a lot of mantras, but this is one of them. Don't do things that are shocking. Don't do things that are stupid. She's talking about a bad picture. If you can't say it to now this is really a grandmother, but for a lot of us that would be our mother. So, but this works for the 20-somethings. If you can't say it to your grandmother, for goodness sake, don't say it on social media. My goodness, you have to really be responsible and intelligent, whether you're looking for a job or not, because you never know when your employer is going to stumble upon it. Or you never know when your mother's, my mother's not on social media, but, in theory, it's just way too embarrassing. So don't post embarrassing pictures. Don't get into political rants. Okay, as much as we want to, don't get into religious things. It's, when you're, and this is a question, and again, it's good that we got you here, because a lot of us do volunteer work in our churches. Okay? And that's what makes us who we are. And you don't necessarily want to hide that. So go ahead and talk about that, but maybe be a little vague about what church it is or what the actual religion is. Okay? You could say that you're a Sunday school teacher. Great. Or you could say that you are a youth pastor, but avoid the kind of issues that happen when people start to think about politics or about religion, and when they start to think about whether it's Mormon is good or Catholic is good or Jewish is good, and you get into all that stuff. So it's okay to put that out there because that's who you are, but just don't get into a lot of those conversations. You got to kind of tread that middle line.
Sue?
Yes, sir.
I have a question for you. This is going to be an unfair one, maybe. And
Of course.
it's a topic for the time. We even talked about this a year ago a little bit. What about the individual that's made a mistake and their name's in the paper, and DUI, or they got fired from a job and they made the press somehow, whatever. And so when an employer Googles that person's name, it's an entry on the first page of Google entries. What advice do you have? What can you tell us? Really anything about online reputation management?
That's great. A couple things. One of them is if you have something like that, DUI or something that happened, first of all, what you want to do is you want to be building yourself back up and putting some other more positive things out there. Okay, you need to be concentrated on creating some sort of an image that's going to get Googled. Okay, whether that be engaging in some good conversations and posting some blogs, or doing something where your name is showing up on a volunteer list for something. Okay, because granted, it's out there, but eventually it will go down.